The power of unanswered prayer. Unanswered prayer is not a rejection of the person, but a filtration of the request. We often view answered prayer as the building block of faith. The hard truth is that unanswered prayer is the actual foundation. The most dangerous prayer is the one that gets answered exactly as asked, leading to destruction. When God says, "Wait," He is often inviting the petitioner to become part of the solution rather than just the recipient of the miracle. So with that understanding we move forward with this teaching, the power of unanswered prayer. Part 1, The Weight of the Silence. How many of you have carried the weight of prayer, knees bent, voice trembling, heart laid bare, only to find nothing but silence? What do you do when God doesn't answer? Not in a week. Not in a month. Not when your child is sick, your marriage is dying, or your finances are collapsing. Most people won't tell you the truth about unanswered prayer. But I will. Unanswered prayer doesn't just test your faith, it can destroy it. I'm not talking about polite disappointment when God says not yet. I'm talking about the soul-crushing weight when you've prayed with everything you have, and the answer never comes. When the body doesn't heal. When the relationship stays broken. When the deliverance you begged for remains out of reach. How long, O Lord? Will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long must I take counsel in my soul and have sorrow in my heart all the day? Psalm 13 verses 1-2. That's not a Sunday school lesson. That's real life. And it's time we talk about it honestly. If you're in the silence, if you're praying and God isn't answering, this is not the end. This is the beginning of something deeper. I'm not going to give you easy answers. I'm going to show you the truth. The hard truth. The one that changes everything. Let's stop pretending. Let's look at the truth. Not the comfort. Not the hope. The truth. Hope deferred makes the heart sick, but a desire fulfilled is a tree of life. Proverbs 13 verse 12. It's not just the absence of a response. It's the slow erosion of trust when the words you've spoken with such conviction don't meet the ground they were meant to touch. You've asked for healing, and the body still fails. You've pleaded for reconciliation, and the relationship remains broken. You've begged for deliverance, and the chains still hold. And in that space between the cry and the silence, something shifts, not just in your circumstances, but in your soul. There's a kind of grief that comes not from loss, but from expectation. The kind that lingers when you've given your all to a prayer, and the sky remains closed. It's not just disappointment. It's the quiet horror of wondering, did I pray wrong? Was I not faithful enough? Is God even listening? My God, why have you forsaken me? Why are you so far from saving me, from the words of my groaning? Oh my God, I cry by day, but you do not answer, and by night, but I find no rest. Psalm 22 verses 1-2. And when the thing you ask for isn't just a want, it's a child's illness, a spouse's addiction, a home about to be lost, then the silence isn't just empty. It becomes a prison. You begin to question not just God, but your own understanding of him. If he hears, why doesn't he act? If he loves, why does he allow pain to linger? And in that space, faith becomes a battlefield. Not between belief and doubt, but between the truth you know and the pain you feel. Because the hardest part isn't the unanswered prayer. It's the way it makes you wonder whether you can still believe, when your heart is breaking, and the silence is all you have. But here is the truth that often gets buried beneath the grief: unanswered prayer is not a sign that God is absent. It is a filter. The silence is not a wall, it is a mirror. It exposes what you are actually praying for. Are you in love with the giver, or are you in love with the gift? When the answer is no, or wait, the idol of your request is revealed. The silence strips away the transactional religion that says, I pray, you give. It forces you to confront the raw reality: do you want him, or do you just want what he can do? This is where the pain is actually a purification. It is separating the hunger for God from the hunger for his handouts. If he only answered every prayer with a yes, you would never know if you loved him or just his blessings. The silence is the only way to find out who you really are and who he really is. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, declares the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways and my thoughts than your thoughts. Isaiah 55 verses 8-9. Part 2: The Architecture of Character. We often treat answered prayer as the building block of our faith. We think, if God answers, my faith grows. But that is a shallow understanding of spiritual maturity. The hard truth is that unanswered prayer is the actual foundation. Think about how a building is constructed. You do not build the steel skeleton of a skyscraper on a sunny day with no wind. You build it when the wind is howling, when the ground is shaking, when the test of the structure is immediate and severe. The stress is what forces the steel to harden, to lock into place, to become capable of holding the weight of what will come later. Your faith is no different. A quick yes from God is often just a gift. It feels good, it blesses you, but it does not necessarily build you. It is the no, the wait, the silence that forces your spiritual muscles to tear and rebuild stronger. This is the architecture of character. When you pray for healing and it doesn't come, you are not just waiting for a miracle. You are being forced to develop a faith that does not rely on the miracle to survive. You are learning to trust God in the pain, not just for the removal of it. That is a different kind of faith. It is a faith that can stand when the sky is dark, not just when the sun is shining. Many Christians have a faith that is entirely dependent on favorable circumstances. They believe when the check clears, when the doctor says you're cured, when the spouse comes home. But that is not faith, that is a transaction. And when the transaction fails, the faith collapses. Unanswered prayer is the only thing that can build a faith that is unshakable. It is the fire that burns away the dross of convenience. It forces you to ask, do I trust him because he gives me what I want, or do I trust him because he is who he is? The Bible is full of people whose greatest character development happened in the silence. Paul begged for his thorn to be removed. 3 times he prayed. And God's answer was a flat no. But in that no, Paul discovered a power that was made perfect in weakness. He learned that God's grace was sufficient, even when his pain was not. That lesson didn't come from a healing. It came from the unanswered prayer. Joseph didn't find his destiny in the answer to his prayers for immediate freedom. He found it in the years of silence in the pit and in the prison. Those years were not a detour, they were the classroom where he learned the humility and wisdom required to save a nation. If God had answered Joseph's prayers for release the moment he asked, he would have been a freed man, but he would not have been a leader. The silence was the workshop where his character was forged. You are currently in that workshop. It is uncomfortable. It is painful. You feel like you are being broken. But you are not being destroyed. You are being built. The silence is the chisel, and God is the sculptor. He is removing the parts of your character that cannot handle the weight of the blessing you are asking for. Maybe you are asking for a breakthrough in your business, but you lack the integrity to handle the money. Maybe you are asking for a restored relationship, but you lack the patience to sustain it. Maybe you are asking for healing, but you lack the endurance to steward your health if it comes. The silence is not punishment. It is preparation. It is God saying, I am not going to give you a blessing you are not ready to carry. I am going to build the vessel that can hold it. This is why we must stop viewing unanswered prayer as a failure of God and start seeing it as a success of God's timing. He is not ignoring you. He is constructing you. And when the time is right, when the foundation is set, when the character is forged, the answer will come. And when it does, it will not just be a blessing, it will be a testament to the work that was done in the dark. So, do not despise the silence. Do not run from the pain. Embrace the construction. Let the chisel do its work. Because the structure you are becoming is far more important than the request you are making. The silence is not empty. It is full of work. Part 3: The Sovereignty of Perspective. If the silence is a filter and a construction site, what is it in the context of time? Human beings are terrible at seeing the long game. We are wired to see the immediate moment, the next hour, the next week. We pray for a solution to a problem that we think will destroy us now, and when God doesn't answer immediately, we assume He has no plan. But here is the hard truth: the most dangerous prayer is the one that gets answered exactly as asked. Think about that for a second. If God gave you exactly what you wanted right now, what would happen to you? Sometimes, the yes is actually a trap. It is a trap of immediate gratification that leads to long-term destruction. Unanswered prayer is often an act of divine protection. God sees the timeline. He sees the end from the beginning. He sees the consequences of the blessing you are begging for. He sees the future that your current perspective cannot grasp. You are asking for a job, a spouse, or a cure, but you cannot see the person or the situation that will come with that blessing. You cannot see the temptation, the distraction, or the spiritual drain that will follow. You are asking for a sword, but God sees that you will cut yourself with it. So He says, no. This is the sovereignty of perspective. It exposes the limitation of your vision. You are looking at the problem in front of you. God is looking at the life you are living. You are asking for relief from a specific pain. God is asking for the health of your entire soul. Consider the story of Elijah. He was a giant of faith. He prayed for rain, and it came. But then he fled in terror, sitting under a broom tree, begging God to take his life. He thought his life was over. He thought his prayer for victory was finished. But God was not done with him. The silence that followed his victory was not a rejection, it was a reset. It was the sovereignty of perspective at work. God knew that if he didn't pause Elijah, the prophet would be consumed by his own success. You are in a season where you think you are being punished, but you are actually being preserved. Maybe the job you prayed for would have taken you to a city where you would lose your faith. Maybe the relationship you prayed for would have led you into a trap of bitterness. Maybe the healing you prayed for would have made you so proud that you would never need God again, that no is a shield. It is a wall built around your life to keep you safe from the very thing you asked for. This is hard to swallow. It feels like God is playing a game. But it is not a game. It is a strategy of love. When God says, "Not yet," He is not withholding. He is holding back until the time is right for you, not just for the request. He is waiting for the circumstances to align so that the blessing will not destroy you but will actually sustain you. This shifts the entire conversation. You are no longer asking, "Why won't he answer?" You are asking, "What is he protecting me from?" This is the sovereignty of perspective. It is the realization that God's view is higher than yours. His timeline is faster than yours. His plan is safer than yours. When you can finally see that the silence is a safety measure, the grief begins to lift. You stop fighting that "no" and start trusting that "not yet." You stop wondering if he loves you and start realizing that he loves you enough to say no to the things that would hurt you. "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Jeremiah 29 verse 11. That no is part of the plan. The wait is part of the promise. The silence is part of the protection. You are not being ignored. You are being guarded by a God who sees the future you cannot see. So, stop looking at the closed door and start looking at the hand that closed it. That hand is not pushing you away. It is pulling you back from the edge. Part 4: The Invitation to Co-Creation. We have talked about the filter. We have talked about the character. We have talked about the perspective. Now, we come to the most practical truth of all. When God says, "Wait," He is often not just testing you. He is inviting you. Most people treat prayer as a vending machine. You put in the coin, the request, and the machine drops the candy, the answer. You wait for the machine to work. But the kingdom of God does not work that way. It works on the principle of co-creation. The silence is not a pause in the action. It is a call to join the action. When you pray for a lost spouse and God doesn't answer, He is not just waiting for a miracle to happen to you. He is waiting for you to become the miracle. He is waiting for you to stop begging for a solution and start becoming the solution. That no is an invitation to stop being a spectator and start being a participant. Think about the story of the loaves and fishes. Jesus asked the disciples to bring what they had. He didn't just descend from heaven with a plate of bread. He invited them to participate. He took their small offering, blessed it, and then they distributed it. The miracle happened through their hands, not just from His power. When you pray for a breakthrough in your business and God doesn't answer, He is calling you to stop waiting for a check to arrive and start working on the strategy. He is calling you to the table, not to the waiting room. Unanswered prayer forces you to stop asking and start doing. This is the hardest shift for many believers. We want God to do it all. We want the power without the work. We want the victory without the battle. But God rarely does the work alone. He invites us to partner with Him. The silence is the space where God says, I have a plan, but I need your hands. I need your mind. I need your effort. What are you going to do? Maybe the answer to your prayer for healing is not a supernatural cure, but a call to take responsibility for your health. Maybe the answer to your prayer for reconciliation is not a sudden change in your spouse's heart, but a call for you to humble yourself first. Maybe the answer to your prayer for financial stability is not a windfall, but a call to change your spending habits. That no is the moment God hands you the tools. For we are God's fellow workers. 1 Corinthians 3 verse 9. You are not just a petitioner. You are a partner. You are a co-creator. This changes everything. It moves you from a place of helplessness to a place of power. It stops the cycle of, why isn't he doing it, and starts the cycle of, what am I going to do? The silence is not a wall. It is a workbench. It is the place where God is handing you the hammer, the saw, and the blueprint. He is saying, I am not going to do it for you, because I am going to do it with you. This is the ultimate purpose of unanswered prayer. It is not to break you. It is to build you up into a partner who can stand in the gap with Him. So, stop waiting for the sky to open. Start looking at your hands. What is God putting in your hands right now? What is He asking you to do? The answer to your prayer might not be a miracle. It might be a mission. It might be a movement. It might be you. The silence is not the end of the story. It is the beginning of your work. Part 5, the conclusion, the power of the silence. We began this conversation with a question that haunts the human heart. What do you do when God doesn't answer? We started in the pain. We acknowledged the raw, unfiltered reality of the silence. We admitted that it can destroy faith if we are not careful. But we have moved past the grief. We have moved past the wondering. Now, we stand at the end with a new truth. Unanswered prayer is not a failure of God. It is a feature of His love. It is the filter that reveals whether you love the giver or the gift. It is the architecture that builds a character strong enough to hold the glory you are asking for. It is the sovereignty that protects you from the very things you begged for. And it is the invitation to stop waiting for a miracle and start becoming one. The silence is not empty. It is full. It is full of God's movement. It is full of His design. It is full of His voice, speaking in a language you are finally learning to hear. When you stop seeing the silence as a punishment and start seeing it as a process, everything changes. You stop fighting the no. You stop begging for the yes. You start trusting that not yet. This is the power of unanswered prayer. It is the power to be transformed in the dark. It is the power to find God not in the answer, but in the waiting. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your path straight. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6. If you are in the silence right now, do not lose heart. Do not give up. Do not run from the pain. Lean into it. Let it filter your heart. Let it build your character. Let it expand your perspective. Let it call you to action. The answer is coming. But it is not coming as you expect. It is coming as a transformation. It is coming as a revelation. It is coming as a partnership. You are not alone in the silence. You are being held by the one who is weaving the very fabric of your future. So, stand firm. Keep praying. But keep working. Keep trusting. Keep believing. The silence is not the end. It is the beginning of the greatest work of your life. The power of unanswered prayer is the power of a life fully surrendered to the one who holds the future. Thank you for walking this journey with me. May you find the truth in the silence, and may you see the hand of God in the waiting. Maybe you've never prayed before. Maybe you think God doesn't care about your mess. Or maybe you're here because you've prayed, and the silence broke you. Here is the truth: God isn't waiting to judge you. He's waiting to hold you. You don't need a perfect record. You don't need to fix your life first. You just need to stop running. The silence you feel isn't God ignoring you, it's Him inviting you to stop fighting and start trusting. Surrender isn't weakness. It's the only way to find peace in a world that's falling apart. It's handing over the weight you were never meant to carry. If you're ready to stop pretending, right now, just say this: God, I'm done fighting. I trust you and I ask you to be the Lord of my life and guide me to your everlasting kingdom and glory. That's it. No ceremony. No ritual. Just you, honest, and Him. The door is open. The silence is over. Step in. Thank you for spending this time with me. If this message of wisdom spoke to your heart today, I invite you to like this video. It helps this truth reach others who are lost in the noise. Please subscribe and hit the bell, so you never miss a new survival guide for your journey. We are building a community of truth, and I want you here with us. And if you know someone who is struggling, share this with them. You might just be the one to point them toward the light. I'll see you in the next video. Stay sharp, walking wisely, guard your heart, and walk in the freedom of the cross.